and we're gonna start talking today about dating.
Last couple of years.
Feels like 30 years since.
Yeah. I feel like I've lived a million lives.
Already.
Yeah.
So this is when Christianity and like common sense kind of like bump heads. I think that common sense was really chasing him, but he was just like, he was fast. So his mom.
That is the nicest way I've ever heard somebody say, you dumb. Pure transparency. Something I have very much been working on in the last, I don't know, 6 months.
Yeah.
Probably since we started, since we met.
Yeah.
And this, I think at your very core, you have to be, like, you have to know your worthiness, right? Like, everything goes back to your self-worth.
Welcome to the Good Seed Podcast. I'm Allie.
And I'm Rachel.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Good Seed Podcast. My name is Allie.
I'm Rachel.
And we're going to start talking today about dating. So, let's start diving right into it. Divorced, widowed.
Somewhat recently-ish. Last couple of years.
Feels like 30 years since.
Yeah. I feel like I've lived a million lives.
Already.
Yeah.
Let's start diving right into it.
Allie, so after you became a widow, which was 3 years ago, right? Almost
2 years and a half.
Two and
a half,
ago.
yeah.
Okay, so when did you start dating after that? How long ago was that?
It was about a year and maybe 2-3 months that I started to actually being open to the idea of dating. So this was last year, right? Mm-hmm. And I met a great guy from work. Mm-hmm. By the way, guys, I'm not going to throw you under the bus. We have nicknames for all y'all, just FYI. So started talking to this guy a year ago. Met him through work. Great guy, Christian guy, all things. A little too into the spiritual side. I think I learned a lot from that relationship because it was fun. It was cool. Really freaking long distance. He had to fly in weekly to Orlando. But it was fun. It was a fun time. I think it was really new to me because I haven't dated for so long. Yeah. But not only that, because I believe that when you're a widow and you come from having a really fulfilling, like, happy marriage, you're like, I'm done. 29.
You had the best.
Yeah, I had the best.
The best. He was great.
But now I get to realize that he was the best in that season of my life, right? Because if we stick to this mindset that's kind of in scarcity, like, I would never be open to actually meeting someone that could potentially be a really good thing for me, right? So dated a guy. He was flying in, poor thing. He lives 1,200 miles away only. Guy was flying in every week, every other week, I believe.
Dang.
And yeah, it was fun while it lasted. It lasted really short.
How long was it?
It was like, I don't know, it was a couple of months. So this is when Christianity and like common sense kind of like bump heads. I think that common sense was really chasing him, but he was just like, he was fast. So his mom.
That is the nicest way I've ever heard somebody say, you dumb.
So here's the thing. His mom, bless their souls, really good people, really nice people, white people like you. really, really, really nice, like, country people into ministry, all the things. Really nice guy. All the things, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, it opened up my eyes. Yeah, because I was like, oh, crap, like, there might be someone out there that's at my level, you know, because I'm not just gonna settle, right?
Yeah.
So I was
standards.
like, okay, yeah. I was like, okay, this might be it. Like, it might be it, girl. That's when it all came down, when his mom started getting really spiritual about the whole thing, and I was like, this doesn't make sense, and I can go 10 hours on this, so I will not. But that ended quick. So long distance kind of made it hard too. And then I started recently getting into dating apps.
How is that going, Allie? Tell us about the dating apps.
We're busy. We're busy. We don't like to go out. We like to make money. So we'd
rather work.
We'd rather work. I'd rather work, stay with my kids, and stay at home.
Yeah.
But realistically, we have to put ourselves out there because we're too young and too cute to be freaking just sitting around. So dating apps, that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
Trying to keep it in the safety side. So she has my location. So whenever I'm going out with and guys, like if you girls, women that are out there dating, just if you don't have anything to compare to, you will settle. So
amen to that.
It's a freaking numbers game.
Yeah, it is a numbers game.
Meet people. I mean, it's the worst that could happen is you get a networking out of it. You know, you meet someone that's maybe in your business or maybe has an outlet that you can benefit from.
Maybe you're like, you know who would really be a good fit for you? My friend. Someone else.
I would love for that to happen. You know what? Maybe not
Maybe
me,
I'll meet
but
your man, and I'll be like, you know what? Have you met my friend Alex?
Yeah, possibly.
Y'all would really get along.
Networking. I think networking is huge. Like, don't get into the midst of like, oh my gosh, this has to be the guy because he somewhat fits into what I want. So, and you're 4 weeks in and you're like, I want to marry him and I'm not dating anyone else. Don't do that to yourself. Like, it's a numbers game. Meet people. I'm not saying sleep around. Don't do that. We don't do that here. But meet people, have fun, get to know, get out there. If you put yourself out there, you get to practice it. When you practice it, you get better at it. So that's where I'm at right now.
How is it? Like, do you feel like mom guilt when you go out? Like, how is that whenever you, like, are literally, like, changing a diaper as you're putting on your other Louis Vuitton to go hit the dating scene?
I think that I do. I do sometimes feel mom guilt, but at the same time, it's just, like, I had to overcome that because I need me time, too. And I am every day with the kids. So, I mean, I think it was a thing in the beginning for sure where I was like, I'm taking time away from my kids to actually date. Is this good? But then I just overcame it because I honestly feel like if I don't take care of myself, I can't take care of my kids.
Yeah.
So for me, that's where I'm at. Dating app, getting out.
Do you have like a funny like story of like maybe a guy?
Man, I have a couple.
Tell us.
Okay.
Spill, girl.
I think this is gonna be bad. I don't think I've ever told you this, by the way.
Oh Lord.
I'm not even sure. So he had on his bio. He had pastor's kid. Okay. Nothing against pastors. I'm just gonna keep it real. Pastor's kid. We texted for a while in the app, right? And he was like, "Hey, can I have your number so I can take you out?" Da da da. Surgeon, like all. Just checking all the freaking boxes, right?
Nice.
Sends me a dick pic. 2 hours into texting. Pastor's kid. I kid you not. And I was like, what church did you go to?
What? Is that what you said?
Yeah. I was like, what church did you go to? Like, are you in the ministry?
What did he say?
He was like, are you not into this? And I was like, are you not do you have a pastor's kid badge on Upward, dude?
That was a curveball.
I think that was the sops, and then I blocked him, obviously. And then I think that's the funniest one for me. That's the funniest one. That's where hilarious. Christianity, like, there's a fine freaking line. There is a fine line into knowing the Bible and actually having a relationship with the Lord. Like, there is a fine line. And people want to blur over it the whole freaking time, and it's not really that hard to find. You know? Common sense is there for a reason. Use it. Like, use it, please.
Common sense ain't that common.
Please. Okay, yeah, that's enough about me. Let's go back to you. So, divorce. Your divorce was 2022. January?
Separated.
Yeah. When was the divorce?
It was like a few months later. It was like that summer. Yeah.
So how long after that did you get into dating?
I took some time, for real. I was also living with my mom for a period of time, like waiting for everything to settle and like to buy a place and all this sort of stuff. So I definitely intentionally took some time, just like freaking to work through stuff and
Yeah.
figure out what I wanted and who I was and like all of those things, which I highly recommend. Like, I think a lot of the time people are like, you're single, let's go meet somebody, and like,
No.
you don't have to jump from
No.
one thing to the next. Like,
No.
you don't.
Mm-mm.
And I have loved, honestly, I still love it.
Yeah.
Like, I love being single, and like really, you get to gotta be selfish with like your time and yourself, and like, what do I want in this season, and like figuring out like who you're becoming and then what your non-negotiables are and like all of these things. So I highly recommend, don't do like a whole rebound thing. Like,
no, that's not smart.
It's not smart. And so I luckily didn't get into all that. So it was, to answer your question, gosh, it was probably like late fall, like November-ish, like separated in January, probably November, by the time I started kind of seeing people. And so highly recommend just taking a breather.
Yeah, taking time.
Yeah.
And then you get to, but don't get lost into like liking it too much.
Liking being single too much?
Like, yeah. Like, I think it's a good sign. I've
fallen into that already.
Yeah, I think it's a good sign, because if you're happy enough with yourself, you know that you could have someone add on to your happiness.
Yes, and then it's cool to be in that place where like they must contribute. Like they must add value.
They must add
to your life.
Yeah.
Because you're good, like you don't really need anybody. Like,
right.
You're happy, you're good.
Oh, yeah.
Like they must like add value to your life.
Yeah. And I
think
think
is cool.
I think it takes like some time to get to that place where you're like, I have everything I need. I can take care of myself. I don't want to, but I can. And then who am I going to allow into this peaceful, abundant place in my life to be able to add on to it, you know, because self-worth. How much do you feel you're worth, you know? Like that goes down to it as well. And then you stop settling and you stop to have really crappy relationships.
Yes.
Right? So you have to start to add value into the dating pool, because you get to pick.
Yeah.
You're not just going to be like, okay, oh, this is enough.
He's convenient.
Yeah, well, he's interested in me. Like, that's enough.
A couple of the boxes.
I'll settle.
Isn't horrible, so I guess.
And we're never going to find the perfect guy, right? That doesn't exist. I don't believe that. I believe that you find someone with the same values as you, who's good at handling you, and you're good at handling them. Right? That you can work through stuff together. But I really don't think that there's the perfect, and we get too, like, it's not don't settle, I guess. But at the same time, it's just like you have your non-negotiables. They're not going to be perfect. You're not going to be perfect. We're aware of that. What are we willing to compromise in? That's not your non-negotiables.
Exactly.
And then you start to add value actually into your life overall. Like for me, I have kids. I can't just be messing around with whoever to see what happens. Like, that's not happening. I don't need that. I have kids. Like, it's more of a serious
You're not killing time.
No.
Yeah.
Like, in time is
You're
gold.
being very intentional.
Yeah.
About how you spend your time and who you spend it with.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You said something earlier about self-worth. I wanted to circle back to that. This has been a very big topic for Allie and I. Self-worth. Yeah. And this is pure transparency, something I have very much been working on in the last, I don't know, 6 months. Yeah. Probably since we started, since we met.
Yeah.
And this, I think at your very core, you have to be, like, you have to know your worthiness, right? Like, everything goes back to your self-worth. And self-confidence is actually very different than self-worth, right? Like, and I actually just read this book called Worthy. I don't know. I couldn't think of the name of it. It's called Worthy by Jamie Cronlina. And I've now gifted it to a bunch of friends. Like, I feel like I'm Oprah with this book because it's like such a game changer. Yeah. It's like a life-changing book. But it talks about like your self-confidence is built on your accomplishments, right? Like, I have this, I am this, therefore I am confident.
Okay.
Right? Self-worth is like, strip everything away, take away your income and your looks and your personality. Like, strip away everything. And, like, at your very core, that's self-worth. Like, am I worthy of love or happiness or money or all of these things separate from my accomplishments? That's self-worth.
Wow. I've never thought about it like that.
It's true, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because when you do things that boost your confidence, and that's great. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But, like, if you stripped all that stuff away, who are you?
Yeah. That's
huge. Are you worth it?
Yeah.
Just for being
you. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a complete mind shift for me.
I think it's getting to actually that point where you're like, this is what I'm worth. Mm-hmm. Why would you go down here?
Don't lower the bar.
Right.
Yeah.
If this is what you're worth. Mm-hmm. Like, it would be so freaking stupid.
Yeah.
To just be settling for someone that will take away from it.
Exactly.
So this is the fun part, right? Like, going out, meeting people, getting to know people. I've gotten to know so many cool guys.
Yeah.
That were not the right fit for one reason or the other, right? But we're still, like...
Still cool.
It's still cool.
You go grab dinner and just get to know them, yeah.
Yep. So it's pretty awesome, I think, to not be stuck in the mindset of, like, I have to get to... Because I got into that. So when I dated first, because my it was so off of dating for a while, my mindset around dating, what was it? Which it's still the thing, right? I want to be married because I miss that lifestyle. I had a really, really good marriage. But goes down to, don't think that because you're only meeting this person now, they're good now, today. It's like, get to freaking know them. You know, it's not going to be the person that you're going to marry. And I think that that's the first thing I did when I dated this guy. The first guy I dated after he passed away. So after I was widowed. And I was, like, so into the mindset of, like, remarrying, because that's what my heart really wants, right? To be remarried. I miss that lifestyle. I want my kids to have a father figure. So I got too involved in that. And it didn't really I settled. I was willing to settle.
Do you think you, like, ignored
red flags?
Maybe red flags.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. I think that, again, going down to religion and not bashing Christianity at all, like any type of religion, I think it has like, you know, it's like foundations or whatever, but going down to religion and the fine freaking line with spirituality, common sense.
Yeah.
The mighty Lord gave us a freaking brain and common sense for a reason.
Use it.
Use it. Use it. Don't forget about it. It's there. Put it at use. It's like a muscle. When you don't use it,
you lose it.
So it's like freaking common sense. I did have a couple of red flags from him that I was willing to overlook because I was in the mindset of, oh my gosh, like I possibly will be getting married to this guy.
So what are some of your red flags?
My red flags is not having discipline. I think that's one of my biggest ones.
Is there any like examples of that?
Like if you don't go to the gym. I don't care if I don't go to the gym. Like if you don't, I'm lying. I work out sometimes. But if you don't go to the gym, I think that's one of the things about discipline that I go towards because that means something. Another thing is if I can manipulate you, I lose respect for you.
What do you mean?
So women, our brains work like this where we maybe ask for something in a certain way because we know we can get it. So if I can manipulate him out of his discipline, for example, I really want to see you today. He just come over, but I know he goes to the gym at 5 and he's willing to not go to the gym at 5 for something so stupid to like come and I'm going to not respect you anymore because that's too easy for me. So I think that's another one. Like if he
needs to have his non-negotiables.
He needs to have character.
Yeah.
He needs to have his non-negotiables and be like, no, babe, I'm going to the gym and then I can see you after. I respect that.
Yeah.
Like, I can't lose respect over my man because if not, like, who is he? Yeah. So I think those two, and then honestly, down to values, like just values overall, because if you're not aligned in values and you're aligned in other things, it's going to be a freaking bloodbath.
Amen.
Like, you cannot change people's values, right? Yeah. So what about you? What are your non-negotiables?
My red flags?
Or your red flags? Both of them.
Red flags for me, a big one is discipline, but a little bit different than that is like just self-control. And a big portion of that is like your emotions. Like being in control of your emotions.
Yeah.
From my experience, like anger, right? For example, like if you cannot control your emotions, therefore your anger, like that is scary. It is no fun, and I don't want any child of mine around that.
Road rage.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
That's a good one. You know what I read the other day? It was like, if you know that someone's a narcissist by the way they drive.
Ooh, tell me more.
Because if they beep or if they're like cussing people, like it's like the world doesn't revolve around you. But it's a good metric system, right?
That's really good.
Like drive with someone. Go on the car with them.
Yeah.
So, okay. So emotional control. What else?
Emotional control. Definitely just like having your priorities in check. And I think that relates back to your values, right? Like your priorities need to be aligned. And, you know, at this stage of life, like if your values are partying or, you know, doing stuff like that, it's like,
I mean, it's okay, right?
It's okay, but like that can't be a priority for you.
And if it is, it's not aligned with you.
And if it is, then that's you're not the one for me, right? So I think that just having your priorities straight and emotional control are two like huge ones for me.
You know what I just thought about? Remember this guy I dated? So this was a couple of months ago. So White Boy 2.0.
Okay,
yeah.
We have nicknames.
We have nicknames, guys. Don't worry. I won't throw you under the bus. Yeah.
We'll tag you on the stories. Follow our
We'll probably, just name, last name, address.
Social security number, license plate number.
So White Boy 2.0, you remember, he was a great guy. He was a really awesome guy.
Yeah.
He was fun. He was all the things, right? And then one day I told you, and I was like, you know what his red flag is? He doesn't bring me closer to the Lord. Do you remember when I told you that? For me, that was a big revelation.
Yeah.
Because it's such a big, like, subject and part of my life.
Yeah. Talking
about the Lord. And when I noticed that, I was like, he doesn't bring me closer. If it's either, it is black or white, right? Yeah. If he doesn't bring you closer, he brings you further away. So I was just like, okay, non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Right? And then we basically.
That was an easy thing to let go of because you drew that hard line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Took me a while to realize it. But again, back to values. Like if we're rechecking our values every single time that we're dating someone, it will make dating so much freaking easier.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to waste time. You know?
It's a great, like, filtration system.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
So write down your non-negotiables. Be aware of red flags. And stop signs. Because some are freaking stop signs. Like for me.
Flashing neon
lights. Like a dick pic. Like 100%. Like, yeah.
Block that boy, girl.
Block that pastor's kid.
Yeah.
100%. So red flags, write your non-negotiables, you're down to values. And another thing that I also noticed about him, it was that whenever he didn't have the kids, he would party. Like he would get drunk. And I was like, that's not my jam anymore.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather be called boring.
Yeah.
And I'm not, but I'd rather be called that than being drunk every other weekend because I don't have my kids.
Yeah.
You know? Like, it's just...
I think that goes back to the self-control.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
Totally does. And then definitely, I know you mentioned this, and I think it's important for people. Like, it's a numbers game. And, right? Like, there's truly an abundance of people in this world.
Please.
And men.
There's actually, like, 8 billion. Is
that the number?
I believe
8 billion?
Something billion.
So
there's billions. That's important.
There's literally billions of guys out there. So therefore there's millions that's probably going to even fit your criteria.
Right.
Statistically speaking. So like just meet a ton of people and talk to a ton of people, and don't commit too quick because you don't have to do that.
And because you don't know the person.
Yes.
You don't know you cannot know who a person is in 30 days, in 60 days. It doesn't happen.
Yeah. You have to have that abundance mindset, which I think is like a game changer for me personally.
Yeah.
Of like, if he ain't it, we're not going to try to make it fit. Like, don't try to, like, you know, when you wear a pair of shoes, it's like just a little bit too small. No. Like, don't suffer through it. Yeah, don't suffer through it. Like, it's going to be painful. Go buy a new pair of shoes, girl. Yeah. There's more shoes out there to be worn. There's way more shoes out there. Yeah. No, I think that when you get into the mindset of like, okay, the next one's around the corner waiting. Yeah. Like, it will make dating so much, not easier, but actually fun. Yeah. You know? And, okay, let me just, like, say this. We don't mean sleep around. Like, that's not a numbers game. Boo. Don't sleep around. Wrong kind of numbers. Okay, wrong kind of numbers game. Just meeting people. Meeting people. Yeah. Getting to meet a lot of people, because when you're aware that there are good guys out there willing to commit to something more than just a fling, then you'll be more open to it, you know? It's okay. Like, you'll be more okay with it. And you also detach a lot easier from it, from the outcome, which is another huge thing, right? You have to detach from the outcome. You have to be okay with saying goodbye at any point in time. Yep, like this. Like after a date. Yeah. Because, hey, he didn't have the same value system as I did or whatnot. So that's okay too. Yeah. But I think... So definitely know your non-negotiables. Values. Recognize the red flags. And stop signs. Third is definitely just numbers. Like, just get out and meet people. Yeah. And then, another red flag for me, by the way, let me add that on there. I have a bunch. But let me add that on there. When the guy is constantly talking about him. When the guy doesn't ask you questions, he doesn't care about you. Yeah. So it's just freaking like, right? It's like he might be a narcissist. I don't know, maybe. Possibly. Right. And another thing that I like to ask guys, it's whenever we're talking about exes, it's like, what did you learn from it? Or where did you see the red flag? You know, what did you do to contribute to the problem? And they're like, oh, absolutely nothing. I was a perfect angel. Yeah. False. Absolutely nothing. I dated this guy. He got cheated on the last 4 exes he had. Going down to the mother of his children. She cheated on him 3 times. And I was like, where did you see the red flags? Nowhere. She was perfect. And I was like, she cheated 3 times, dude. Like, what do you mean? You have to take some responsibility. 100%. 100%. So I think being very self-aware as well. It's good. Yeah. I agree. And always be safe. Like, it's always, like we were talking about briefly at the beginning. Please. Especially on dating apps. Yeah. Yeah. Especially if you don't know him from Adam. You picked him up off the internet. And if you're like 5 feet short, like me, and you're like 5'2". I'm 5'2". Yeah. I'm really tall compared to you. I mean. Yeah. You got to be safe. And so, yeah, we share each other's locations if we're going to go 100% of the time. No, like you literally have like my permanent location. Oh, yeah. But like whenever we're going to meet people, like we always make sure. Know. Yeah. Like I know where you're going. Yeah. And then whenever. Who's the person. Yeah. We send profiles or Instagram handles. Like we're smart about it. Yeah, please. Yeah. Use common sense. Be safe. Safety first. Yes, 100%. I think that's important. So, well, we'd love to hear about y'all's like red flags, non-negotiables. Like, give us leave some comments. We want to hear from you guys, or any questions you have about dating or experiences. And I will say, like, one thing that I feel like we talk about a lot is like a second marriage. That's like, where it's at. They tell me that. That's where we always hear everyone we talk to. They're like, second marriage is where it's at. Like, marriage one, easy. You learned a ton. Yeah. And now you know what you want and what to expect. And it is. And we're not promoting divorce here, by the way. Just FYI. Stay married, people, if it suits you. Yeah. If it doesn't run. But we're not promoting divorce. I'm just saying, if you're there already. Yeah. Cool. There's hope. There is hope. And it's going to be a lot better. Even if you're young. I know sometimes it's weird. Like, I was divorced at 26. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
but you know what? Like, a lot of people are divorced. A lot of people are widowed.
Oh, yeah, for
A lot
sure.
of people are widowers. So, like, don't let that stand in your way. And
not all guys
there's
are the
always
same.
hope.
I will say that.
Yeah.
That's important because I think we get too into that as well.
Yeah.
Again, scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
So live in abundance. There's good guys out there. Be safe.
But be safe.
And it's a freaking numbers game.
Yeah. Go have fun. Enjoy it. Live it up.
So subscribe. Make sure to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button below. Follow us on all social media platforms at the Good Seed Media.
Nailed it. At the Good Seed Media.
See you guys
Thanks
later.
for watching.
See you next week.
Be sure to hit that subscribe button and follow along with us on social media at The Good Seed Media. And stay tuned for all the updates and more information.